album review hit. We don't know what this channel is called.
Wait. Hold on. Hey, my man, the camera looks like it's more aimed at you.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying,
I like that.
I feel like, you know what I'm saying, I can see myself in there.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think it's doing me mad justice.
Yo, I think you're right. Just turn it a little this way. Hip Hop History, The Northwest Stories, first album review, Specs One, Unfollow.
Specs.
What up?
Oh, you know, just living good, man, like I should. You feel me?
All right. We're trying something new.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about some local music. One of my brother had the idea. We're gonna start with Specs. I personally have listened to the Unfollow and I think it's the Sasso tapes or the Sacco tapes. I love them both. We're gonna talk about that a little bit more, but yeah, let's jump on into something.
Before we just jump into a track,
yeah.
The Specs is a big part of Seattle hip hop history, the Northwest Story. We plan on getting him in at some point, you know, all things considered. I know he's a busy dude, he rocks shows, he's doing comic book work and production and everything else. So Specs, if you see this, man, we really want to get you up in here. But we did have the idea to do these album reviews, and we really want, I mean, not that we wouldn't do newer artists, but we want to keep the theme of the OGs, the vets, because a lot of these guys are still putting out work and quality work, and we figured what better outlet than to promote their shit and just give an honest critique of what it sounds like. So, you know, we're going to try to keep it as real as possible. We're not going to just be straight haterade about it, but, you know, if it ain't that dope, then we're probably going to say it ain't that dope.
We ain't looking to make no enemies. You know, hopefully, you know, we say everything with love. We're here to support everything that comes out of here. We love the new cats. We especially love the old school cats, and we just want to put that little message out there. So hopefully, no feelings will ever be hurt.
No, and here's the thing, and I just actually came to this conclusion because this Specs here is a smart motherfucker because I had to buy her album. So shout out to Specs who changed it, because I already streamed it, but then I went to go, we were going to listen it again on Bandcamp, and now you got to buy it. So it was the $7, so I spent the $7, so I figured when we do these, we might as well buy this shit. You know what I mean? Just out of respect if we're going to be putting them on blast and shit like that. So you're definitely going to get at least one sale out of us out of this, but without further ado, this is Specs One, aka Specswizard, Seattle vet, OG in the hip hop game, and this album or EP is called Unfollow, and the first track is Morning Rain.
No fear, no worries, done it all before.
Should I crank it a little bit?
Give it a little juice. Man, that shit was dope, man. That intro had me. I thought that shit was gonna start banging.
Yeah.
I like how he flipped it, but man, that shit was nasty.
I mean, I think, you know, Specs comes from that long line of really interesting producer techniques and flips, and like, it's not gonna, you're not gonna be able to predict what's about to happen with the beat. And that intro, you just thought with the piano was gonna hit hard, and then, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, he's got that classic Specs flow, which to me is like that classic hip hop b-boy. Specs is a fucking rap writer, he'll have rap writer too. I feel like you can hear that in his shit too. Man, I'm gonna admit, I'm
Please.
biased. I'm hella biased. I love Specs. You know what I mean? Like and really I go back as a fan, you know, and I wanted this first episode of this to be a good one, so I chose Specs, you know, and I've already heard it. To be honest with you, I did a run through once before, but man, to me, like this is how I feel about Specs. When you think of like hip hop, and you just think of like what does hip hop sound like, not all the branches of hip hop and how has it changed and done all these things and how have we can flip the beats and make them bouncy and how fast can you rap and how many tongue twisters and metaphors and all this shit. Right. All that shit's dope. But to me, that like Spec sound is literally like textbook. You know, like if you looked up what hip hop is, like it would be Specs. You know, I mean, and he is. He embodies that shit too. So I mean, you know, when I hear him rap and he says shit like, "Guess who? Oh, it's me with the poetry." You know, don't need swag. I'm too cool for company. I mean, simple ass shit.
Right.
You know, oh, it's me with the poetry. It's just that nice cipher shit.
Yeah.
That grown ass, like, you know what I mean? But I don't know, I can't necessarily say it's grown because he's sounded like that ever since I've ever heard of rap. I mean, this shit is not too much far off of any of the other things that he did with the other crews that he was in, whether it was Crew Clockwise or True Believers Crew. I mean, it was always in this vein. And that's another thing, is like, man, this motherfucker just keeping it true to the art for so long. I think in the interview you talked about, well, I don't know, he's not on Classic Elements, but he's on 14 Fathoms Deep.
Yeah.
And that was TBC, True Believers Crew. Fuck, we could play that, and it, you know. But anyway, let's. Sorry, y'all. I love Specs.
Regiment the evidence.
Can I go to the next one?
Yeah. Rappers coming out to have my
This one's called Morning Rain.
Let them criticize my eyes being lacerates. What a bummer, Scott Summers, my game's hot. I blaze a lot.
Blaze a lot.
Maze a lot. Most haters were comatose. Deaf, dumb, and blind. I left some behind.
Alright, we're gonna go to this next one called Sparked Up.
Yeah, I'm blazed up. Pipe full of gummo. Wrote quite a few bars, about to write some more. Drum roll, watch bro, new gigs to unfold. Stack money up, smack dummies who was running up. Beat some drumming up, then I fuck 'em up. Rap sit alive.
One thing I like about this type of shit too is that
Robert, I retire when I'm fired. Flame on, invisible, one of my big sisters.
something like I like cats that don't need the beats to be like this crazy booming. Right. You know what I mean? Like the last one was more banging than this. Right. But sometimes like I think Jay Dilla and Madlib did that shit a lot, where the drums were kind of faint, like it's not even there. Right. You know, even though hip hop is all about boom bap, I like when they draw back on the beat sometimes.
Yeah, I noticed that listening to this project too. There's a lot of kind of softer. I mean, it's still, he got a nice boom in there every now and then, but it's more like kind of like sample again drums, you know.
I wonder what he uses.
I was thinking the same shit when I was like, it sounds. I think it's purposely sounded like that. I mean, he could probably make it sound way cleaner if he wanted to, but.
Yeah, I would argue the same thing. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's rocking an ASR 10 or maybe even the old school EPS. That's just like my hip hop.
He's on the Mirage.
It sounds some of the shout out to the Mirage if y'all know this, because it does have that filtered sound a little bit.
Maybe he just uses a rack to sample the samples.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey Specs, if you want to let us know a little bit of the secrets, man.
I'm on the secret sauce. And he's nice too because
nowadays niggas be crying on the stage.
I remember, man, I didn't really pause this real quick. I remember back in the day, let me go into a little quick story.
Let's talk about it.
I remember back in the day, like the way I used to rap, I wanted to fucking like just you know, like squeeze as many words as I could into a 4-bar count.
You're trying to go like fast or what?
Not fast, just like I want, like how I wouldn't look at the count and see how can I structure this in as clean as possible.
Okay.
So I would just like say what I wanted to say, and I'd jumble words a little. It just wouldn't be that clean.
Right. Right.
And one time I was rapping for Native Son. Shout out to Native Son, um, the big OG. You know, put us on. If you go back to my
Go back to
first
Katie's
interview.
Right?
And I was rapping for him, and he was like, his reaction was weird because he was like, man, you know what I could see you as? He's like, when you get older, you're gonna be that motherfucker in the cipher where everybody's trying hella hard, and you just come in on some fucking like some of that shit. Like you're just gonna come in and like be so effortless with it. The cats are gonna be like, I don't even know how he does it. And I feel like that's what Specs has. Like somebody's gonna come into a cipher and be like, and just think he's lighting it up.
Right.
And then Specs is gonna come in so smooth, and you'll be like, how did that shit sound doper than that shit?
Kind of like,
You know?
kind of like to put it in perspective for the younger cats. Kind of like if you go and watch the Cassidy and Disaster battle.
Right.
Disaster was fucking mean, like ripping, like trying to fucking kill this guy's whole entire. And Cass was just like, hey yo, wrist shiny, chicks like me, you know, just fucking murdered him like it's nothing, you know.
Yeah.
So kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's that comfortability and that confidence to know that you ain't got to do all that shit. You know, my dad, who's a musician, or our dad, you know, when he was younger, he used to, you know, be into these guitar players that would and all that shit. And you know, as those musicians grow older, you just see them like get in their bag. You know, they don't got to show off all the tricks and shit. They can do them,
Right.
but you don't really got to do all that. You just got to be nice with it.
Right.
And again, I think that's what Specs has, man. So let's play some more of this, and then we'll see what's cracking.
The pen felt like a mighty scepter. Pick it up, aim, and start spraying all competitors. Rap gas, spit a flow till it's empty. Critical, like Cicero versus Wimpy. Bitter pro, plant subliminals in your chimney. Visible, love your little flows in a jiffy.
See, the other thing is he's so OG in the game. A lot of the shit that he says, I'm younger than him, and I kind of don't know what he's talking about. You know what I mean?
That's why we need you here, Specs, man. We gotta get some of that backstory.
All right, this is the third joint. This one's called The Question.
The question.
All these songs are like 3 minutes, which kind of makes you want more, which I think is a good technique because it makes you bump it again.
And there goes that.
There we go.
That
See?
famous flip.
See, 'cause I was-
you
I
thought
was
you
like-
had it, huh?
Never easy. Blaxploitation costumes on your
Oh, actually, you know what? No. Let's go back to this. I don't want to interrupt him because this is the one we were talking about in the car. This one. He's really talking about some old school shit in this.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one? Okay.
So keep what he says.
The question is, was pimping ever easy? Blaxploitation costumes on your TV. How would I know? Simple artists with a flow. Entertaining the open-minded, so reminded. Is this who we all trying to be? Fleetwood bone steeds, it was never me. Big Bro was at it at 13. First Avenue used to smell like Afro shit. And some would never believe this. All we got now is mad yuppies on the scene with cards out like where to, sweetums. Same street had scheme team pieces in 83, dog. We used to meet on 3rd Avenue after school. UVA, Penn Pals crew, TUA too. Nowadays, toys run the curriculum. Swear you the chosen one. Don't impress no one. Shout out to Willie. We used to smoke weed up right in front of the pigs. Like, yo, you dudes need something? It's like we had a key to it. Looked down upon by passerbys, but we knew it. That's how it feels to be true. Phonies in the spotlight never really knew, cause you knew. And God's no respect for the foundation. You just out for a check.
Yo, pause. you kind of brought this up before.
Right, man. So I'm just listening back to it, and it's like me personally, being a big fan of hip hop, you know, you want to find out where it came from, and if you find out correctly, it came from New York, and and New York has that story about, you know, the writers' benches, and you watch Style Wars, and you see all these other movies and shit that kind of makes you go, wow, man, I wish, you know, and the story that he's telling it right now is kind of like that story, and it just blew my mind to go, man, was that shit actually popping out here where we're from? So if we get a chance to talk with Specs, which hopefully we do, I would love to hear the story of that that beginning scene, because we talked with like Wojak, and you know, he told us about like mid '80s and early '80s and stuff like that, but and also me and Dusky, we talked about the difference between Seattle and Tacoma. And Tacoma's always been a little bit more gritty and more gangster kind of, whereas Seattle has a different, I don't want to say more hip hop, but like it just is a different style of like, but it's hip hop, you know. Yeah. Anyways, I would just love to hear those stories of our city, man, and how that shit looked sitting there writing. He said the Pen Pals crew, and I personally haven't heard them, so I would love to be you know, enlightened with that.
Yeah, and he shouted out a couple of crews that I don't know of. I mean, I know probably, you know, I mean, I know a good portion of the graffiti history in the Northwest, but you know, I'm a product of the '90s myself, so my knowledge goes back to like BAM crew type of thing, DBS crew. But man, the other thing that he said, you know, he just talked about, he kind of painted that picture of what downtown First Avenue even looked like. He said back in the day, First Avenue smelled like Afro sheen, which would lead me to believe that at that time there was some pimping going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There was some fly
there
shit.
was some fly shit going on, you know? I mean,
Sure.
whether it was pimping or not, I mean, that's just what I think of. He's also said something about blaxploitation. He said that was never me.
They say pimping ain't easy.
Yeah,
you know,
so I think he's painting that picture of like what it looked like in the 70s, you know, maybe early 80s, as hip hop was kind of growing out of that 70s phase. But man, what a crazy thing to be a part of, because I know when I was a kid going to downtown Seattle, it was hella different.
Yeah.
But it had already probably changed from what he's talking about.
Right.
You know, so he's probably talking about slamming Cadillac doors or some shit. I don't really know. But again, you know, we only can get it from his mouth. So, but I think it's just dope that he even painted that picture for us.
Absolutely.
You know, and he said something about looking at it now, you would never believe it's just yuppies with their cards out talking about where to, Sweetums.
Right.
But man, I know, yeah, man. So I mean,
I think also it's important for, I would say it's important for anybody right now to go back and listen to, not go back, to go cop and listen, or even stream it. It's free for the first couple times.
Yeah.
Because you gotta, like I said, man, it's important to know the history, and this motherfucker obviously knows the history of this Seattle hip hop shit.
Yeah.
So, cop it.
Cop it, listen, stream it, share it, motherfucker, get with it. And I mean, he's got, on Bandcamp alone, he's got,
I think there's 7,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 7 joints on here.
Seven projects on there. So
quick story time too about Specs for me, because back in the day when we were just getting in the scene, you know, everybody was around. You know what I mean? And there was always these 2 dudes that would be. King Otto was a DJ. Shout out to King Otto. I think he still fucks with Specs, but I think he's somewhere in the Midwest or some shit, if social media serves me correctly. But he was an ill-ass DJ in Seattle and producer, I believe. But you would always see these 2 dudes at every show, and everybody always had, like, they would come through, and it would be mad love. And I'm just young, you know, I don't know everybody, like, because these motherfuckers are all from Seattle.
Right.
I'm from Tacoma, but I was going out.
Right.
You know? And I really wanted to live this shit and really be this shit. So I would just look at this dude, and he had the illest fucking dreads, bro. Like Specs back in the day, dreads were like they weren't like, you know what I'm saying, like you twist your hair and make them hella nice and shit. Like he just let it go natural. And like, you know how who's the motherfucker? Remember Murs?
Murs, yeah.
When his shit was all fucked up, and then I don't mean fucked up, I meant just natural. And then who else was like that? The Weeknd.
Yeah, yeah.
Like how the Weeknd looked like he had maybe dreads and he put them in a ponytail and just never took the ponytail out.
Right.
Like Spec shit was on some shit like that, even iller than that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And him and this other dude had these long ass dreads, and they would come to the spot and everybody would be showing love. And I didn't know he was even an artist for the longest time, because I would just see him at the shows looking crazy.
Right.
And he was just the most interesting motherfucker.
Right.
And he'd always be chilling somewhere with a fucking black book, just burning it up.
Oh, word?
Yeah. And then finally, I think at a show, it was like some Hip Hop in the Park show. I think it was called Hip Hop in the Park. And if I'm not mistaken, they just recently redid it, like a tribal. Remember you were talking about that?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like a
reunion,
an anniversary or
yeah.
reunion.
Well, they did it at.
Yeah.
It might have been Judkins Park, I think maybe.
Okay.
But they have like a little amphitheater there, and there was a show there, and it was fucking crazy because everybody performed on the concrete platform, and there was like big steps going up, and everybody was chilling there, and then like there was a big
in the CD, right?
Yeah, there was a platform right here, and that's where the DJ was set up.
Right.
And everybody rocked, like all tribal. But then at that show, I think was the first time I seen Specs actually like rap, and I was like, oh shit, he raps too.
Right.
Like this motherfucker is dope as fuck. You know what I mean?
You blow your mind.
Yeah, because what you hear is kind of what you get. You know what I mean? He's not all over the stage. He's not running around like. You remember when I used to perform? I'd be jumping off stage and doing all this fucking crazy shit.
Right.
But he just kind of like, you know. And it just makes you want to go like who? What's he saying? You know what I mean?
What's he talking about?
He was just so mysterious too, and it was like, man, this motherfucker is on some other shit. And then my homeboy On Q had some old cassette tapes, I think, of like the True Believers shit.
Was On Q from here, or was he just?
Yeah. I don't know. I think, yeah, he was from Spanaway.
Oh, okay.
He was from Spanaway, but he was real big in Seattle. You know, going out there fucking with a lot of people. And anyway, man, so that's kind of like my beginning. And I just, the other dude that he was with was Tracy. I don't know what happened to Tracy. Shout out to Tracy, but those motherfuckers were fresh, man. I'm pretty sure True Believers crew or Crew Clockwise was him, Tracy, and maybe King Otto. I mean, I don't know. I don't have all the facts. So again, hint, hint. That's why we need to interview.
All right, let's talk about.
We back after a commercial break.
We're talking Specs One, Unfollow.
What do you think about the title?
I mean, it's cool. I'm wondering what about it. I know he actually said something about, or he said a line in there. It was like unfriend, unfollow. So I don't know if it was just like that was his favorite line of the joint, and he named the project after that. But curious to find out what's up with the title. But it's
I feel like. I mean, it's got the black and white cover. I mean, you're going to try to post this if you can, I guess. It's just a picture of him looking off in the distance, clouds, very northwestern. And rightfully so. But what I'm gathering just from kind of listening to is I think the unfollow thing is like, man, fuck all this social media shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, let's get back to this shit.
Don't follow.
And maybe that's why you gotta buy this shit. You know what I mean? Like, ain't no more freebies, motherfucker. I made this shit. Like, if you want it, buy it.
Yeah.
Which you gotta respect. I mean, I'm a cheapskate, so I was hoping it would be, you know, no disrespect, Specs, but, no disrespects. But, I mean, you know, I'm glad that you made me buy it, to be honest with you, because it's gonna make me appreciate it more. And it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's worth $7.
For sure.
It's just this internet shit makes everybody feel like you should be able to get everything for free, whether it's a fucking movie or a. So yeah, I think it kind of has something to do with that.
All right, let's talk about it, baby.
So we're speaking of unfollow. We talked about what we think the name means, and we're gonna go into the next one. So far we heard. Morning Rain sparked up the question. Did we hear? I don't think we heard this one. Rap Flow State. This is track 4.
Roads ahead, I'm blazing. Pen never goes dry, stay fire taping. You expect respect, that's impossible. Put some more time in, call yourself rhyming. Fail to acknowledge your style first, you're learning. Open zip files first, then I'll burst the cursing. Cursing, why not? Life remains profane, bonfire scripts. You can feel the pros pain. I'm so
Oh, that was sick. Let's talk about that.
This is my rap flow.
He said something about.
Just quote it.
Just quote it right. Let's see what he said.
Bonfire scripts, you can feel the pros pain.
Bonfire and scripts. You can feel the pros pain. So obviously that's a little fire bar, flip.
Fire flip.
A little fire flip for all you battle heads out there. Yo, fire, flip, bro, paint, get it? It's over your head. Nah. But that was filthy. So he said bonfire and scripts, you can feel the pros pain. So obviously he's saying I'm a pro, you can feel the pain, the fire in my flow, but also pros, like P-R-O-S-C. So P-R-O-S-C, it was like, I don't know like the definition of it, but prose is like the art of like writing. You know what I mean? So you can feel the prose pain. So that's like a 3-wayer.
Ooh, that was a 3-dog nighter?
It was a 3-wayer, so. And that's the thing too, is a lot of times with these guys that have these simplistic flows, these real basic flows, you kind of overlook them.
Right.
You kind of just go, oh, you're going along with it, but then you might have to go, oh shit, what did he just say?
Back, yeah.
And this is definitely one of them joints I feel like you can listen to at least a handful of times before you start catching all those little zingers.
Right.
Because he's definitely on his artistry. He ain't just, Miss Mary Mac all dressed in black type shit. I'm not gonna lie. In today's world, not everybody's fucking with this. You know what I mean?
This ain't for everybody.
This ain't for everybody. And I think Specs knows that, and he's happy. I don't know. I think, but I'm kind of the same way too with my music. I know it ain't for everybody. I'm not trying to make universal music, but this is definitely like a strict type of person.
Right.
Well, I don't want to do that to him.
Not really.
I don't want to do that to him, but I think like the people that get it right off the top are the ones that were like in the basement, in the attic, you know what I mean, turning on the red light or the black light, smoking, and that whole thing, that ceremonious way of listening to music that I don't know if people do anymore.
When I was listening to this project, and since I'm a little bit younger, I try to putting it next to other newer artists is not like a crazy concept in my head. It happens all the time, so it's just like, oh shit, I can kind of hear. But like when I first heard it, it's funny because like I'm almost 100% sure that this cat had maybe even neither of them have heard of each other, but fucking I heard Earl Sweatshirt flow. Like there's somebody's liking this shit because they're still doing this shit.
Yeah, man, it's definitely like that. So yeah, you're right. There's definitely like some, with everything there's gonna be, fans across the board. But like, I think that, man, it's definitely, if you like that, you like this, and vice versa. All right, let's go to this next one. That was Rap Flow Stain. This one's Messing With You. Who knows, man? Not if history tells me correctly.
Bars up.
Oh
Let
shit.
me just start
It is.
Transform up with a
It says this when you thought you knew me, motherfucker.
Not, it's easy like Sunday, no sermon. Let me see that mic. You not G-Rap or even Slick Rick. Produce flicks Rick. Soundtracks can't be wasted time around whack. People in general macking on your minerals. Mad because we busy saying rhymes for the city still. Bust raps I really will, even though I'm 50 still. I roast raggedy rappers, thought they was 50.
I think he just confirmed his age. He said I'm 50. So shout out to fucking Specs, bro, for being 50 in this motherfucker.
Killing it.
You know what I mean? Like, and that just goes to show that, like, I mean, hip hop has this thing of making people feel old. You know, like shout out to Trust, but Trust is always, oh man, we're so old, we're old as fuck. You know, and I'm like, bro, I'm only 38. Like I'm old, but I don't feel that old. But like since hip hop is this young man's game, like the people that are like 30 above be feeling ancient. And here we are, bumping this man's shit. So fucking Specs confirms he's 50. That's OG.
Confirms he's
big props, man.
No way, Jose. Find something else to do with your time. Time, you're through with your rhymes. It's fucked up what coke can do to your mind. I'm not judging. Yes, I am. You whack. Fuck it.
Get back. That shit was a tight line. He said,
it's fucked up what coke can do to your mind. I'm not judging. Yes, I am. You whack. Fuck it.
He said, I'm fucked up what coke can do to your mind. I'm not judging. Psych. Yes, I am. You're whack. Fuck it.
that's a fucking dope ass line right there.
I actually didn't catch that when you said it. I didn't hear what you said.
That shit was funky.
Yeah, I love that. Since when can you not say somebody's whack? Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like nowadays you can't even say shit's whack.
Right.
We just talked about that in the beginning of this. Like we're gonna try to be as like polite as possible if we don't like some shit.
Right.
But I mean, come on. I mean, if the shit's whack, it's whack, right? And again, it's whack to me.
As a matter of fact, if we get Specs and we get him on, and if we can get him to give us the okay, if everything that we play, if it's whack, we're just gonna play that sample.
That little line.
You're whack, fuck it.
Yeah, whack, fuck it. I'm not judging, psych, I am. You're whack, fuck it.
What I'm looping to it. Let me get my pen right. Insight. Inject sunlight into your cold midnight. Damn, done got off track again. That super silver haze got me acting African. That means I'm going in, gunpowder sipper. One shot of liquor, half sun, bout to rip you. Fun, outstrip you for a swim, skinny dipper. Dive in, I'm frying, psych, I'm just jiving. Yep, my rhymes like to bounce on a beat. Old school, like buying an ounce on the street.
He said, my rhymes like to bounce on the beat, old school, like buying an ounce on the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can't do that no more. Well, I mean, you can, but it's,
I mean,
it's
you know, I'm so far removed from that game, but that's it. I like that line.
And not to diss a dispensary. Shout out to Ruckus. Thanks for that Trinity.
I see. We should have kept him going because he goes old school, like trying to like buying an ounce on the street. Not to diss a dispensary. Shout out to Ruckus for that 20.
for the Trinity.
Oh, for the Trinity. I thought he said for that 20.
Ruckus. I ain't been to Ruckus. I'm gonna have to go check him out just because of Specs. So Ruckus, if you see this, shout out Specs because he's gonna bring you a new customer.
Bringing you some new shit. All right, here we go. There's some lines in this one. This one's really slow and
Slick.
you know.
I like to keep a rhyme basic. Flow upon a bass kick, a snare might erase it. Minimal and massive, chemically a classic.
He's saying a lot of shit. He said minimal yet massive. And I think that's kind of what we've been saying this whole time.
Yeah.
How do you take this thing and strip it down so bare? You know? There's so much room in the music. He's comfortable with that space.
Right.
A lot of rappers ain't comfortable with that space.
I'm not, definitely not.
I know, and that's how I used to be. I'm getting better now.
Right.
But Trust used to always tell me that shit too. Don't feel like you gotta fucking fill up every little fucking breath with something to say. You know what I mean? And you know, some people that are on some shit like that as of lately, like Rock Marciano, Ka, the Griselda dudes, you know. What's his name? Conway.
Conway.
But yeah, man, that takes a lot of fucking guts. I feel like it takes a lot of balls to just have a beat and just be like, dun 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 dun.
Right.
I'm like, that's my line. That's what I'm about to say. But if you think about it, like some of the greatest scenes in like movies or plays or whatever, there's that space to think. You know, there's like, when you make a point, I mean, I think even like speechwriters say that. When you make a point,
let it marinate.
Then you come back and hit them.
Yeah.
Because you're like driving the point home. You don't want, you know, you say something fresh, then you let him pause.
Stripe off set light. Sunrise to have fun in the mic booth. Wrote 50 million rhymes, huh? Would you like proof?
This is the last one.
Predator in action. Cool genius.
Is that the same from the beginning?
Was it?
I mean, it's not the same, but is it the same sound?
I don't know. We'll have to go back.
I don't think it is, but it's nice.
This is only a minute, so maybe this is just an outro. I don't know if he's gonna rap on it. But this is the art form, you know what I mean? Like, this is it. I mean, I would say that Specs is probably still digging for wax. Yeah, I would think, you know what I mean? So he's probably, I mean, sometimes in hip hop, like these little loops like this, like we live for this shit. And I can just see him in the lab finding this and going, like I said,
Well, in the woods, I used to cast a few spells down on the banks of the Taff. This is a wizard at work, weaving magic.
there you go. So again, you know, with those crazy samples and the in-between loops and ending it with the loop, starting it with the loop, you know, just the artistry of digging in the crates and
Yeah.
finding shit that nobody has, being original, you know, that
Hey, real quick, one thing I can say, almost, not 100% sure, when I listen to like almost anything that comes out, I can go, oh shit, that's that samples that. Not one time on this whole entire project was I able to go, oh shit, he took that. I don't know I don't know if it was samples or what, but if it is, shout out to you for finding some shit that I've never heard, because almost everything I hear, I can go, oh yeah, that's that
That's
joint.
right.
So
Yeah, and the further we grow in hip hop, the newer shit becomes old shit. So a lot of people are sampling 80s stuff, you know, with
Right.
been sampling 70s stuff. But I mean, even 90s stuff is getting sampled now. People are flipping, you know, Janet Jackson samples and
Right.
SWV samples and shit like that. So I don't know, man. I don't know how we're gonna judge this. You know, the Source had the 5 mics. You know what I mean? How are we gonna do this? This is the
Source,
Northwest.
is the Source still around?
I think so. I don't know, man. Should we bring it back to the mics? Let's do trees.
Trees.
I mean, we're in the Northwest, and it's a big smoking community.
Tons of smoke around.
You know, we got the evergreen tree, so.
How many chronic leaves?
Not just like the trees, the actual evergreen
Like
tree.
the fucking ones
Like
you
the-
put in the mirror?
Yeah.
Okay. The smell good trees.
The smell good
The
tree.
black ice trees. How many black ice
How many
trees?
black ices? How many new car smells?
Shit, man. I
Okay,
mean,
so if 5 is.
well, are we gonna base it off of just what we thought entire? Are we gonna go, what do we think about production? What do we think about the lyrics? What do we think about the entire presentation?
I mean, we can take all that into consideration.
Okay.
But it's just at the end of the day, it's like, you know, when the judges do the scorecard. Just boom, this is my shit.
And on a scale of what, 1 to 5?
Let's go, yeah, let's go
On the
1 to
fever?
5. So, I mean, 5 is like, obviously the dopest shit you've ever heard. 1 is the weakest shit you ever heard, I guess. So, I'm just gonna come out and say, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm biased. I would just give this shit 5 trees off top. But just to be realistic, I'm gonna say 4.5.
4.5 trees? 4.5 trees?
4.5 trees,
Hey,
man. I give them 4 full-grown pine trees and then like a good 6-foot Christmas tree. You know what I mean? Like the shit you go and cut down at the cut your own shit.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why, and then you can tell me why.
Let's hear why, for sure.
Because, I mean, you got the beats are dope. You know, the reason why I'll tell you why I'm giving him a half a tree on the last one. Just because I feel like in this day and age, I think we demand more of an artist. You know, a lot of times, you know, the biggest artists and the most popular ones can just do a lot. You know, they can sing, they can dance, they can fucking rap, they produce. Well, but he's doing all those things. But I feel like Specs ain't gonna be the motherfucker to cross genres. You know, he ain't gonna come out and be like, have a singing hook.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I think that there's a bit of and in a good way, but I'm gonna use this word loosely because I just don't know what to say. But there's a bit of stubbornness in his artistry. He's not gonna budge. Like he's Specs. Like I'm fucking Specs. You know what I mean? This is what I do. This is what I've been doing. I'm gonna do this, and you're gonna fuck with it or not. And I fuck with it heavy, man. So and for what he does, it's the greatest that it could be done. I can't critique what he does particularly because he's mastered that craft. You know what I mean? I just think that on a universal level, just take this and spread it to everywhere. He's gonna have some people that go, I don't know, man, it's kind of slow and boring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not for me, because I like that head nod, chilling, you know, turn the lights low, burn an incense shit.
Right.
But someone would say that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's why I had to at least cut one tree in half.
Alright. Alright, so Deucey's giving it a 4.5.
4.5.
And I know he's doing that because he doesn't want to seem like a fucking complete jock rider right now. But
I'm biased.
For me, going back to something like Katie was saying earlier, like the channel in the name, hip hop. Like we're talking about hip hop, you know what I'm saying? We're not excluding any sub genre or category of hip hop, but like the true original like hip hop, like this is it.
Right.
This is it. Like this is what that is. Like he said, this is what that is. And when I heard it, it was like no question. Like yeah, that's the shit. And so I mean, just for that reason alone, on top of the fact that he's saying some dope lines, he's got some dope production. I know that if he really wanted to, he could make the shit sound polished, but that's kind of going back to that real back in the day hip hop sound. We didn't have those fine-tuned fucking computer generated programs and shit, you know. This is hip hop. So for me, this is a 5 easy. I'm throwing 5 out there. 5 trees. And
hey, we need it.
But easily 5 for me because just because this is hip hop and this is what the show is all about is because we love hip hop and the realest, truest, rawest, nastiest form of it. We love all hip hop, but that's the shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, 5 easily.
Yeah, and again, man, let me just plug Specs real quick. So this is on Bandcamp. The name is Specswizard. That's SPECSWIZARD. You'll find him, the artist, on there. This project is the latest one, Unfollow, just put out October 18th. What else he's got on here? He's got the Saco tapes or Sasso tapes that came out earlier this year. He's got Cool Mike, The Untold Story, which is dope. I heard that one. Golden Eagle, which is great. That one. Return of the Artist, the long-awaited Mega EP, and then Specswizard, Green Lover, and the Northwest Hits. And man, this, like he said in the shit, I done wrote 50 billion rhymes, and I believe it. And I know he's got way more music than that. I used to actually have some hard copies of some older shit that I don't have anymore. Shame on me. But man, he's got some people talking about it. Wisdom from Seattle. I don't know. I know he.
I think he's a producer.
He's like a producer. He raps too, I think. And then G Lampa, I'm not sure who that is, but his favorite track was the Rap Flow Stain. Wisdom's favorite track was The Question. I would say my favorite one is the first one, Morning Rain.
Okay.
Here, let's just one more time.
No fear, no worries. Done it all before.
I'm gonna steal this loop, Specs, and rap on this shit.
I swear I thought it was...
Yeah. here.
Yeah, that's a dope ass line right there.
But the way
Yo, this Specswizard and getting killed with a pen. Plus the ink was murder. You probably think a merger. Get with the times. This shit
Yeah,
right
right here.
underground hits in the low.
All right, y'all. This has been the first
It's gonna blow.
the first of many. You know what I mean? Good looking out. Yana.
Versus
Scary dude.
the bass
We
like
out.
speaker when the speaker is blown up.